Greetings survivors, FiOth here, and in this video I'm gonna show you how to mod Lord Arthur to make him a melee powerhouse supporting his allies in close range combat and buffing them at the same time whilst he is able to sustain low fear levels and increase the whole team's damage output. So Arthur is unique in a couple of ways. First and foremost, he will start with a very functional broadsword. His initial weapon is the blade, and the blade also gets buffed when he's using his active ability. And because he's a leader, he has an aura that gives buffs to his allies. Now, the buffs given are powerful augmentations to both his light and heavy swings. So everyone fighting in melee will benefit from Arthur being in the team. Now we're gonna try to improve this and make it more consistent when it comes to what damage you can deal and how you can augment the entire crew. One thing that has to be understood about Arthur is you can go all in buffing his aura ability, but this is not what we're trying to do, because he always has access to a good weapon and he becomes even stronger with his active. We're gonna have a split build here between aura support and melee prowess. So bear with me as I explain what I'm doing here. Start with what Arthur can do, the Lord's Wrath. When activated, this ability increases the damage inflicted by your melee attacks and those of your nearby teammates, in addition to reducing fear levels. The weapon acts as a light source because it is a fire. If Lord Arthur has a sword, he inflicts extra damage, so it's a good idea to always have Arthur around with a sword. If you get, of course, a legendary hammer, you will switch if your sword is of common quality, but if you can't get a legendary sword, oh boy. Weapon Master heavy attacks. You and all your teammates within the aura's radius deal increased damage with heavy melee attacks. Start the match with a sword. Pretty much the same thing but for light attacks, so no matter how you swing, you're dealing more damage. That's 30% for heavies and 30% for lights, by the way. Fuel the Fire. If you perform a finisher where the Lord's Wrath is active, the ability lasts longer. Remember this because it ties into the build. Now for the nodes. Great Influence increases the range of your aura skill. It reaches 15 meters when you max this. What we're trying to do here is cover as much ground as possible, especially for fights that deal in the Kandarian Dagger, the map, or the final bout against the Dark Ones. Cardio reduces stamina cost for running. This is one of my favorites, guys. This, with 3 upgrade points in stamina during the game, makes you run for a really long time. Arcane Knowledge increases your detection radius. Not bad, but I just opened this up to have access to the other 2 nodes on the right. For me, Arthur really goes well with a Cheryl, because this Arthur will not be about detecting stuff and reducing timers on objectives. A Cheryl with investment in those areas will help the team tremendously, and Arthur can focus on melee and battle augmentation. Quicker cooldown reduces your cooldowns by 10% for your ultimate. Master of Influence strengthens the effect of your aura. That means that you're getting a 20% additional damage output on top of your already 30%. Pretty insane stuff. Now we go to Artful Dodger, reduce the stamina cost for dodging. This is good, but I am taking it because I have no other good alternatives. Plus 20% HP from Industrial Strength. And down here we're going for Seeing Stars, more balance damage. Devastating Force, more melee damage. And no, I'm not taking the last word, and this is what I wanted to explain when it comes to Fuel the Fire. You never wanna go the full combo with Arthur for 2 reasons. One, you're probably gonna break balance in 2 hits and be ready to kill even elites in 3 hits. Unless we're talking an extremely high level demon controller, buffing and summoning, in 3 swings most of the enemies will be killed easily with a finisher. The combo is 4 hits. In order to use Fuel the Fire in this situation, you have to kill the enemy with a finisher to extend its duration. Every kill gives you 3 seconds. It can be quite substantial. Another thing, Artful Dodger is a good alternative to taking Reinforced Amulet, because 5% of damage reduction when you have shields is not that big of a deal, and Arthur cannot really build for shields. Not what I'd like to have, so I'm not picking it. I'm totally against it. I don't see the benefit. Like, Ash from Army of Darkness, yeah, he can build shields and sustain shields, and he's a powerhouse of shield management, but Arthur can't really build shields. Another idea is to use a light therapy because your ultimate is a light source. This might help with fear management, but there is no actual way to measure it right now, and because the game is kinda stuttery, there's still a bit of junk in there. I can't come up with a conclusion. I tried mix and matching, but I can't see numbers, so it's pretty hard. Anyway, it's 35%. The fear goes down slowly with Lord's Wrath. It does go down, but it goes down slowly, so I don't see the benefit really in using this. If you want to try it and you can have some consistent results to present, just leave a comment. I'll favor it so other people can see it. Just make sure you run your tests correctly, guys, because as I said, I couldn't get any consistent results out of this. Now, for other ideas on how to run Arthur, you could go full arcane knowledge and fast forward and make him a hybrid of support and easier objective detection. But it's a waste on this character. Because Arthur focuses so much on swordplay and augmenting his attacks and the crew's attacks, what you absolutely need is Master of Influence maxed and Great Influence maxed. There is something to be said about having I can still help, but do you really want to invest in something that means you kinda failed to survive the encounter? For me, a good idea would be to invest Echoes of the Aura, because allies will always come and go near and away from you, especially the support units, so those 7 seconds during an encounter like a lifetime of time. Okay, it's huge. It's a huge amount of time. But you have to go through both deep pockets and I can still help to get here, not to mention that you have to sacrifice one of the 2 poison Artful Dodger. So this is not what I'd call ideal. This is very important. Never forget cooldown when you can have it. Of course, more health, and as I said, be able to run for longer and have as much balance damage and health damage as possible. So Arthur like this for me has worked extremely well. Like, I lose out of 5 or 6 games, I might lose 1, and that's if we're playing a very competent Necromancer. But yeah, this build, guys, if you've watched the stream, it really has served me well, even before it was complete, because whilst I'm streaming, I'm not stopping to reallocate points. I just come in here, pop a point, save it, and keep playing. But now that I completed his build and reached level 25, I was quite surprised by how good this build was. It's not focusing on the utility aspects of the character, it focuses on his combat aspects, but combat for Arthur is what you're gonna go for, at least in my humble opinion. Okay, with this build we have 1 for a warrior, Ash from Army of Darkness, 1 for a healer, I did Cheryl Ariel, and now 1 for Arthur. I'll try to approach a hunter next, although I have Annie at around level 12, and I'd really like to give her a go and finalize her growth before I move on. We'll see how it goes tomorrow on the stream and we'll act accordingly. One last note, guys, don't ask me for gameplay snippets when it comes to these builds. We can't really show anything with 20 seconds of gameplay in the beginning. It's pure eye candy, and I try to keep them short and to the point. I try to respect your time. Please don't make my life hard on that matter. Sub, like, and share for more content like this. I will be covering everything in the Evil Dead. Hit the notification bell to be notified about our streams. And if you really want to help, consider Patreon or getting a membership on the channel. Until next time, be well, stay frosty, and always strive for perfection, peeps. Cheers!